Hey fellow gamers, Chatty Sisa here, and I hope that you can hear and see me well. And I welcome you to the January live stream on my channel. It is nice to see you here, and I'm really happy that I have seen again some increase in new subs for the channel. So I'm hoping that you are liking so far what you are seeing. It is a nice Friday evening. I'm doing these streams once a month, and the let's say usual information at the beginning for those of you who might not know. I do have 2 dogs and 2 cats, so there are some pets which can technically have zoomies, and I apologize up front, and it is also the reason why I'm leaving the door back there behind me a little bit ajar, so you might see them walking around in the meantime when we are live. Normally they don't like interrupt or anything, but don't be surprised if you see a cat walking around here, so just FYI. Good. I do have a couple of topics for today. I did mention some already on the thumbnail when I was posting it. There are more, of course, so I usually do have some more of the topics, which I will be talking about pretty soon, but I do have also a few more other technical stuff or things that I would like to mention. So I do have the chat window on this side, so in case you're wondering where I'm looking, so my chat window is here. I can see what you are writing. In case you want to share something, please feel free. The streams are, let's say, more like a chat or chill streams where I'm reacting to what you are saying. And in case something's not working, so in case you don't hear me well or you don't hear anything that I'm showing, it happened already a few times, and I realized too late that you hear no sound from the bits that I was playing, so unfortunately it can happen. If I can, I will fix it, but please let me know. And also I hope that there is not a let's say big lag in the performance of the live stream. I did adjust some settings, so hopefully it will be fine. Talking about lag, there is also a time lag between what you're posting in the chat and when I can see it here on the screen, so I might react a little bit later. I have noticed that it's about 2 or 3 minutes before I see actually what you are writing. It is already a little bit, let's say, better than it was before. I did change something on the settings, trying to see your chats or your inputs a bit earlier. But there's only so much I can do, and there is also something which is on YouTube side where there is a small lag, and that's not something that I can do anything about, so just be ready for that. Good. What else? There was something. Let me pull up my notes, so in case you are going to see me reading something on the screen, it is because I have prepared also some notes. And what else do I have? Oh yeah, I wanted to mention it because I'm not mentioning it too often, and I already heard from a couple of people maybe I should be mentioning it. It's not. That's why I'm not mentioning it, because it's not so important to me normally, but just FYI, because a lot of people don't know, and I've got already some questions. I do have stuff unlocked like super chats, super thanks, memberships. You might have noticed it on the channel. I don't necessarily like expect people to, send something, because that's not really the point of the channel, to be honest. And I just wanted to mention it because I was asked by some people in regards to specific bits. And then some have, let's say, used the super thanks option. And that was namely for the vid where I have posted a guide or walkthrough for a lockpick puzzle for a game, certain game. You can find it on my channel. It is an extremely heavy to manage lockpick puzzle. It's really very, very difficult. And I believe the guides that you can find online weren't so great, so I did just a very brief read, and many people were like very happy about it. So yeah, just on this spot. So that's one of the options. On the other hand, I did talking about this. I did have a good laugh because when I posted the Exclusivity lately, that was regarding the exclusive interview. So I did mention on the thumbnail exclusive details because those were details that the game devs haven't shared before with us. So they did an exclusive interview with. There's a channel called Gaming Interviews. And I believe the two people who are always there asking questions on behalf of gamers are Luke Stevens and Luality, who is a streamer. So definitely you should check them out. They have really good content and I really like it, especially Luality has like some crazy stuff. She's beating games with really crazy ways. So that's quite fun. And Luke has really like good takes and keeps people up to date on what's going on in gaming, not just necessarily about games, but in general also gaming topics. So I appreciate this channel too. And those two have made these interviews with some of the devs, also amongst other things with the devs for Crimson Desert, which I have also posted already. So I did make a summary of the vid because usually these interviews are about an hour long and not everyone's having the time to watch those vids. So I did a summary of the vid and I posted it then for a brief overview because I know that many people enjoy rather watching a short summary than an hour-long vid. And I did have a feedback which actually made me laugh, to be honest. Those of you who are longer on the channel, which is, by the way, for example, Louis, I can see him. Hi, Louis. Hi. It's nice to see you here. Hey, so those people, like Louis, know that I am not exactly fond of what I call paid shields. These are the people who, let's say, get this exclusive access and whatever. And normally I'm not really so fond of that. So because somebody mistook the posted thumbnail, which said exclusive details as exclusive access, I've been called a paid shield. And I think I didn't have a good laugh like that for like a week or two. So I did have a good laugh. I'm exactly the wrong person to be called that, but okay. I have absolutely no intention to become one, to be honest. So no thanks. The summary vid was really just a summary vid of something that's actually available for anyone. You just have to Google it or look it up on YouTube. So that's about it for the paid shields and exclusive access and paid content. This was definitely paid content. Yeah. On my channel. Okay. So I had a good laugh. So just FYI, so if you want to know like where these sources are coming from for the bits that I'm posting, I usually post the sources in the description. And also normally the descriptions are stating like what the vid is about or what's the summary of the vid. So yeah, maybe read the description first before posting that I'm having paid content because yeah, like I said, it was quite funny. Good. Let me introduce today's topics. Like I said, those were already on the thumbnail a little bit. And not all of them. So I will be talking a little bit about Horizon 3, not extensively, not that much. There's not really that much going on, more like a little bit of a speculation. And because it goes hand in hand with the next information that we've got, also not 100% confirmed yet, and that's the PS6 delay. So it goes all hand in hand. I'm not really that fond of let's say speculating, rather wondering what if to a certain degree, but not really speculating. But those are information that we've got. So it is quite interesting. And it will be also connected to some information about other games which are coming out in 2027. So let's talk about that. Then I don't know if you have noticed, but Netflix has extended the licensing deal with Sony Pictures Entertainment to stream their movies. There is a little bit about that, and we have been talking about Netflix on the channel already previously in regards of the offer that they made for Warner Brothers. So this is now something that will just strengthen their position on the streaming market. Definitely something to have an eye on. The good old games, or GOG, as the English speakers are saying, and the ones that are here in the area, we just call it GOG. So that was sold to one of the original founders, which was Michal Kicinski. It is something already that I have previously mentioned, or where I have posted on Twitter the information. I'm sure you know about it because it was already a couple of days or weeks ago, actually. But I would like to talk a little bit about GOG. And what that could mean. And basically, he did also make an interview not so long ago, just a few days ago, and talked about the, let's say, future of GOG and what they have in mind. So it could be interesting to talk about this. Mike Gamble from, yes, Zombieware is hiring. Let's talk about that because I do have some connected information then also with EA about that. And talking about the EA, they have shut down these Anthem servers, or Anthem. So there's also something to mention there. Then something that made me specifically very sad, MTV has shut down. It's for me the end of an era. I really I enjoyed it for many, many years. I'm sure many of you did as well. So let's talk about that a little bit as well. And then what I have noticed is YouTube seems to be addressing a little bit more the people's concerns. I think it's related to the absolutely biggest avalanche of criticism which I have seen in a long time. That was about a month ago. We also talked about it on the channel on the last live stream. And I believe they started to reply and look into the matters a little bit more than they did before. So I believe something's happening over there. And then by the end, we will have the Fun Friday. So I do have something funny for Friday before the weekend for you. So that's about the summary of the topics. Let me check the chat. And Louis is writing, well, I feel that our languages don't stress the exclude aspect of the English word. We just see exclusive as sensational. Yes, I mean, the exclusivity can be, like I said, perceived in multiple ways. So it could be something that is really, let's say, exclusive access. Somebody who has accesses portion of a very small group of people. Okay, in that case, usually that is some, let's call it paid content. I will have a bit on that topic later, by the way. And then exclusive means that it is information that was not before yet shared with anyone. That doesn't mean it's not being now shared with the wider public. It doesn't mean that it's just for a specific group of people. So there's a difference between exclusive access and exclusive details. I think that one was the biggest, let's say, wrong impression that person got from the thumbnail. And for us, it's exclusive usually. We discussed that also a little bit already previously. I'm not really very fond of using that, but in this case I did an exception because it was really something that was important to share, and I found it really interesting what they have said. But the exclusive can be, like you are saying, something sensational and something that is normally I associated normally with tabloids, which is not exactly something. It's not the route that I would like to go. So yeah, it has more meanings, or we perceive it in multiple various ways, and usually in our languages the exclusivity is usually related to something from the tabloids. Yeah, exclusive. And then Good old GOG. That's from Louis, yes. Louis is saying, man, Anthem's launch was a generational shit show back when various critical channels started popping up. Yes, and I think that was like found food for their channels. They could make a ton of vids about it. And don't worry, I'm trying to get all linguistics on you just to make sense of the situation. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I was surprised as well because most people and I'm really happy that there were so many people watching the vid and that the interest is there, to be honest. So, and I've got also positive feedback from for the summary. Like I said, many people don't like to watch hour-long videos, not necessarily because they wouldn't want to have all the detailed information, but they just simply like the time often. So I think they appreciated when I did, let's say, just a summary with the main key points. And most of the people did understand it exactly that way. Just a couple of people were, paid content, yeah. I had a good laugh. On my channel, yeah, no worries, not gonna happen. Chivalry is not implied in any way. You're just trying to get the information as fast as possible. That was true. I mean, I was watching the original interview. I think it was posted on a first day, and I had some time over Friday evening just to watch it and take some notes. And then I just summarized the key points, and then I've spent basically the Saturday and Sunday with just recording and editing and changing the script back and forth just to make it group the topics together. Oftentimes these interviews are all over the place, so you can see that the devs are saying what they want to say, what they had prepared, and it is crossing multiple, let's say, topics or aspects of the game. And then there is a place where the interviewers start to ask questions. And again, those will come back to this topic, that topic, and ask various questions, which are going then back and forth between what was already said and maybe some additional information. So what I had to do was to, let's say, group the questions and the answers into specific topics so that it makes sense. I don't know, combat and stuff like that. So I think that is also something that and I think that there was one specific post, and I have to thank the viewer who has posted it, who said that he likes the way how I grouped the topics and how I presented it. So I'm glad that people like how I did the summary, and I've tried to do the same as well for the Crimson Desert interview. And when there is something in relation to the games that I'm following on the channel, when there's some news again and maybe all over the place, I will just try to summarize it again and just make it a cohesive summary that makes sense and has specific topics. By the way, before you get into the topics at the end, I have a quick question. Around the holidays, I noticed the Steam sale on Mass Effect, but only the newest edition. And when I checked, it looked like there were some updated graphics and therefore much higher system requirements. I think that was the Legendary Edition, and I'm not even sure if you can buy the original free games separately as they were. I think the only way how to buy Mass Effect right now is only through the original trilogy, is through the Legendary Edition, unfortunately. And I do believe because they did, let's say, not remake, but remaster it basically, that it does have a little bit of a higher requirements, yeah. Any experience with that? I happen to have a toaster for PC, so I decided not to get it. Yes, Legendary. Yeah. I believe you can buy the if you can, then at least the first and the second should not be so demanding. The third one probably also not. I don't even remember what was the. I remember when I had the old PC, I was able to play the first one and the second, but not the third one anymore. So I believe there was a change, quite a big change between the second and the third. If you can get your hands on the separate games, then try to do that, because at least the first one and the second you should be able to buy them and play them. Those should run on an old potato PC and or toaster of a PC. Just by the way, I know that currently it's a question really of funds, but I to be honest, I did actually invest. I'm not sure if you have noticed, but ALSA has still some CPUs and GPUs available for, let's say, relatively reasonable price. I'm not saying it's a small price, so it's not. It went up as well, and I can see it going up daily, basically. But I do think that they have still something where if it's just a question of a GPU, and if your PSU and the CPU can make it and can handle a newer GPU, then probably you should be looking at that and maybe change, because it would be worth it. I did it. That would be actually my last update before we go into the topics, to be honest. So I apologize up front. There will be a small delay between the vids. So after this live stream, I normally make, let's say, specific vids out of the live stream, like clips about the specific topics. It is in a more condensed format, and I believe it's also welcomed by those people that are not able to join the stream and who just don't want to watch 2 hours of a stream. So I'm just picking up the topics and make separate vids out of those. And aside from that, I do have already a long list of other vids that I am partially already working on and which I want to finish, and some new ones which I have to do. And there will be a delay, and that is because, talking about ALSA, that's for those who don't know it, who are not in the area here, which is like Slovak Republic and Czech Republic and Austria, and I think they are also in Hungary. It's a shop, something similar to Amazon, a smaller one, of course, because it's just covering like I think around 4 countries right now, but they have really good prices, and they sell basically everything. They started with electronics, and I think they are now selling even like goods for household and cleaning stuff and makeup and for no groceries. They were talking about actually doing that, I think, during the COVID times, but they decided against it. But aside from groceries, I think they have like everything by now. And I was looking at the and updating my PC, because currently with the prices, how they are evolving, there is a good chance that it will be way too expensive later. And I was wondering about updating already by the, let's say, spring 2025, around that time. I just wasn't so sure if it's really necessary. And I was looking at the games that were coming out back at that time, like Mafia: The Old Country, and I've noticed, okay, my old PC can still run it, so with the rig that I have, okay, why update? But I've noticed that the more the games which are coming out, the more I have seen the requirements, the more I've noticed, okay, I'm already on the minimum and barely able to run it. So I was wondering whether I should not upgrade something. And then when I have seen what's going on and I've seen how the prices are increasing, then that's when I have decided to upgrade. So I will have, let's say, a delay. Come back to what I wanted to say. After this live stream, there might be, let's say, a week before I post something new again, because I'm going to upgrade. I have bought some stuff, CPU, GPU, etc. And I'm going to upgrade and change some settings and adjust some stuff. So yeah, I have some new hardware. And then I will be hopefully able to play the games on the recommended settings. So what I did actually was I switched from NVIDIA to AMD, I will be honest, because NVIDIA, when I was comparing the GPUs and the CPUs, they were very similar. Of course, you have to compare those that are comparable on the same level. They had very similar how to put it? So they were very similar in their performance, let me put it that way. And the difference between NVIDIA or Intel and AMD is that AMD is about 22 to 42% cheaper. I think that's a no-brainer, especially in this economy when we see the prices increasing. So I went for AMD this time. Hopefully I will not be disappointed, but I do believe that it was a good step, especially when I have heard the announcement about NVIDIA probably like not really using the 50, 60, 50, 70 and 5080 series anymore. So now they are not going to, let's say, continue with them, I believe. So there's some rumors around. And I'm really happy that I've got let's say, the equivalent of the 5060 Ti. So I have it in AMD, and that's the, what is it, Radeon RTX 9060 or 9070 RT. I honestly, I would have to check. I don't have the numbers in my head, but I will post them in the description. What's the new ones that I have? And like I said, the difference in prices, yeah, basically for NVIDIA and Intel, I have the feeling you're just paying for the name. So yeah, I decided to do it right now before everything like explodes. Anyway, that's enough derailing from me on with the show. Thanks for letting me know about Alza, but currently I'm not looking to buy anything bigger. Yeah, it's I understand that. I was also like wondering whether I should actually invest into that because yeah, it's not it isn't exactly cheap, to be honest, but on the other hand, I think it's currently cheaper, like it will be in a month, 2 or half a year. So yeah, cheaper in this economy. Luis is laughing. Yes, sorry, I used that word. Okay, so good. Yeah, let's start. Enough of me talking about all sorts. I mean, that's what the stream is for, but I'm not sure how you are able to upgrade or not. That's just a question maybe for everyone. Like, how do you see that? Do you even want to upgrade? That's a good question. I know that some people are saying, let's just wait for the AI bubble to burst, but I believe that even if the AI bubble would burst, I don't think that we will be going back to the same prices as we had before. So yeah, for me, I'm rather, let's say, on the safe side now with upgrading now. And the upgrades should technically last for a couple of years. So I should be able to play the newer games, which I'm really looking forward to. So good. Yeah, Horizon 3. And I have prepared again some stuff. Let me just share it on the screen with you. Let me just open it. The stuff that I want to share. And of course, I will have to show myself on the desktop as well. So I hope you can see everything. Hope you can see my desktop. There's as you can see, there's a lot of windows, plenty of windows which I have prepared, and plenty of stuff to talk about. Yeah, before we start with Horizon. Just the one that you can see on the screen. So Crimson Desert has already gone gold, and I believe that's a good thing because it means that basically the game is ready for sale and for distribution. And they did it now, I believe, almost 2 months before the official release. So they still have some time to polish if they want to and if they need to polish something. But the game is good to go, and I'm really happy about that because we've seen plenty of games which have been released in awful states and where the game developers had to work on polishing and bug fixing and everything after the release. And of course that has made some negative news then, and the game didn't sell maybe as it could. So I'm really happy that they managed to polish it, and especially when we think about it, the game as such, Crimson Desert, is a huge open world. So from the vid that I did and from the interview that we have heard and from the details that we have, the game has a huge map. And I think it was like twice the size of Skyrim and even bigger than Red Dead Redemption 2. So that's a huge map. And I am happy that they managed to ensure that the game is really in a good state. And by the time it will be releasing, it will hopefully not have as many bugs, and it doesn't need extra fixing. I mean, yes, something can still pop up, but it looks good. So kudos if they really managed to finish the game like this, and 2 months before the official release date. That's something to say. And I know that some people are not so happy about it. I know that many people are very happy about it, about the game. I'm looking forward to it. I'm not really, let's say, very fond of that size of the map, which I've mentioned. I know it's a big plus for most people. And what I do have to say I appreciate is that the size of the map means a lot of replayability and lots of new stuff to discover, as I mentioned also in the vid. So I'm pretty sure there will be some Easter eggs and you will have plenty of options to find some hidden stuff. So I'm really looking forward to that. Not necessarily to playing the game for like 300 hours, but I will definitely play the game. And I do like that there is all sorts of things which you can test out. So I've noticed that you can use like some mechs or robots or something. So there's like mechanical stuff. Then you can fly. And then you have the traditional, let's say, combat with sword and shield and things like that. So it does look really cool, I have to say. And when I was looking at the from the perspective of the environments, I was really surprised how detailed everything is considering the size of the map. So I really appreciate that. The question is what the story will be like, of course, and what the writing will be like. So that's like the two main points where the people are saying, okay, let's wait and see. Don't want to like overhype the game at the start. So I'm hoping that the story will be good, and I don't know, and I'm not sure how it works with the interaction between the characters. Like I know that the main protagonist Cliff has to find his let's say other team members. I don't know how else to call it, clan members. And just try to like fix whatever he can, basically after they have been split up and attacked by the other clan. So that's just a very brief description that we've got. I don't know what the interactions will be like between him and the other characters, like how much content will be available for, let's say, something like loyalty mission. I'm not necessarily expecting it to be exactly the same as all the other RPGs that we know, because I know that the developer is coming from the MMO RPG sector. So I'm not sure if they paid a lot of attention to this side and how much attention they did. But if they are producing a game now that's a single player, then I would expect this to be a part of the single player if you have like other characters there with whom you need to, let's say, build some kind of relationship. So it's a question. I'm definitely looking forward to the game, and it's something that we'll have to see when the game releases. But it looks so far really great. So I'm really appreciating that they went gold. So that's the first thing. And Lois is saying everything's visible. Okay. Well, I hope not everything, just on the screen. Okay, let me then switch to Horizon. Let me just make it a little bit bigger for myself. And when you look at the Horizon or Guerrilla Games media, there's not really that much going on. What they did was posting just, or reposting some stuff. Usually it's some cosplay or it's some art which the fans are sharing with them. So they are just like, let's say, keeping the Horizon series alive, even if there are currently not really games coming out or going to our attention, let's say. But I know that they don't want to confirm anything officially yet. That's why they don't post anything here. But what prompted me to include this topic was they have suddenly posted on their YouTube channel a clip from the very first Horizon game, and it just made me think, because if you look at it, what they did so far post on their YouTube channel was the let's say trailers and clips and advertisement for the upcoming games. And you can see a year ago they released the Horizon Zero Dawn Remastered. It's more than a year ago by now. I think it was October. Yeah, around October, November in 24. So it's more than a year now. Then around this time, a year ago, they released the Lego Horizon. That one we also talked about on the channel. And then they released a couple of bits related to that. They don't have necessarily now the bits posted here regarding the current MMO, which is done by NCSoft, which I have also made a video about. That's because primarily it's NCSoft who's creating the game, so NCSoft has it on their YouTube page. So normally what you see is them basically promoting something that comes out, and suddenly out of nowhere they are posting 2 weeks ago a clip from Horizon Zero Dawn with the most important moment, and that is when Aloy finds the information about Zero Dawn and what it was, and basically figures out that humanity was doomed way back when, during the times of the old ones, and what plans they made actually to keep humanity alive or bring it back after the extinction. And that's a key moment for basically the entire series. And they just posted. No context, no information, no nothing. And it just makes me think, okay, maybe there's really something going on, and maybe there is some announcement upcoming. I really don't know. It's something that made me think. I don't know what you make up of this, but for me it's kind of weird, because it really just doesn't fit what they are normally posting on their channel and at what times. So this one was a bit weird. And when I looked at the newsfeed which they are having on their company page, it also doesn't really say anything. It just says the last information is about NCSoft's MMORPG. So there's nothing there. But it's like a little jab, like, hey, there's something happening in the background, And when I was looking at the information, like more about Horizon 3, maybe if there is not something else mentioned somewhere, then no. Also on the wiki pages related to Horizon 3, there's just some old information, and I don't know. I mean, there was just an information with Ashley Birch way back when in January 25. That's already a year ago, and she didn't want to really talk about Horizon 3. Question is, what do you make of it? I believe there's something to be, like something's cooking, something's going on. I think there will be something announced rather sooner than later, because this is very unusual. So it just like made me go, wait, something's happening. It does go hand in hand with some couple of other things, but I don't know what you think about it. Let me just switch so I can see if you are writing something. And Louise is saying, sorry, nothing to add to Crimson Desert. First time hearing about it. Oh, you should check it out. It really looks cool. If you like open world games, have a look at it. It really looks great. I'm really having a good feeling with that game. Like I said, I don't want to overhype it. We never know, but it does look very promising in terms of the gameplay and the combat and the story behind it. Regarding Horizon, is there a strong community around Horizon? I expect that. Well, if you think about it, they have sold more than 38 million copies. That was already half a year ago when it was announced. I think it was in summer. The franchise as a whole, so that includes the first game, Horizon Zero Dawn, then Horizon Forbidden West, and then Lego Horizon Adventures was also in that bunch, I believe, and not sure if there was something. I think there was something. There's the VR game. What was it called? I forgot completely. But there's a fourth game, the VR game, Horizon. Horizon Zero Dawn is the one that actually sold the most. I think over 20 million copies were sold just for Horizon Zero Dawn. And I do believe that is a game that had a really great appeal also to the, let's call it normies. So people who are normally not big gamers, but because of how the game is set up, how deep the story goes, how interesting it is, and because technically there's really not that much, let's say, agenda that would be pushed in that first game, and that's not really some obvious nonsense. It had a very big appeal in general to all sorts of gamers, those that are hardcore gamers and even people who are just, let's say, from time to time playing a game. I think that's why it sold so many copies as well. In the community around the game, yes, it is there. There's a lot of people who are interested. I have noticed that there is a lot of people on Reddit, for example, in that community talking about the game. You have a couple of channels which are specifying just on Horizon. On YouTube, there's there's a lot going on in that regard. But the people who are actively let's say posting in those communities or making actively vids, it's not so many creators and not so many people who are reacting to that as maybe in other franchises which would be, let's say, similar in size, and that might go hand in hand with this, let's say, normie appeal, because the people who are not let's say hardcore gamers or hardcore fans, they just don't join the forums, or they don't really react or comment on videos and stuff like that. So it's the size of the franchise is there, the sales definitely, but it's just not the community is not so, let's say, present as maybe for other franchises of a similar size. So that's why probably most people also are not aware of it. Sometimes devs can surprise, like when the old Spellforce game suddenly got a patch about 10 years after release, or when the old Titan Quest game suddenly started getting more expansions about 10 years after the last one, which reminds me, we are now getting also a DLC 10 years after the Witcher 3 has released. So and there are some games which are getting very late DLCs or some expansions and stuff like that. I find it actually quite good, because many people are still playing even those older games, and they like to go back to those, and I think it's nice for them to have some more content in something that's even a little bit older. So I do appreciate it, and not necessarily for the Witcher, I will be honest, not necessarily the fact that it is supposed to explain to us how Ciri became a Witcher, because I'm not really fond of that idea, but that's a topic for another time, and I'm not really fond of covering it here, because I think there's enough channels covering Witcher already. I have my opinion about that, but that's about it. So back to Guerrilla and back to Horizon. And like I said, it just made me a little bit surprised that they are suddenly posting something like that, and it does go hand in hand with the other information about the PS6 release and the other games. But let me just maybe switch a little bit because I want to look at my notes. And Snake is here. Hi, Snake. What did I miss? We did talk about Horizon a little bit and about the hardware prices. So maybe you can check it out when you're watching the replay. But I'm happy that you are here. And Luis is saying at active communities, it is true that Horizon is a single-player RPG, so community interaction is inevitably going to be less active. Yeah, that's also true. But like I said, there's plenty of those people who have bought the game and are playing it, which are just not so active in the gaming communities. So that's why maybe you don't really see them and don't perceive the community as very active or very big. Yeah. Let me check my notes because I did write something. Yeah, that there was one little bit which raised a good point regarding this sudden little clip from Horizon at this time. And they are saying that probably they will start soon market the Horizon free game, which does make some sense because I have a note here. So they normally start the marketing for the next game around 1.5 to 2 years before the release. And if they want to release the game in 2027/2028, so by the end of 27 or start of 28, it would be, let's say, high time starting the marketing. So this might have been the first step, like a little hello. Let's just remind you of this story is still ongoing, and there's still the third game in the trilogy where we need to finish this story, and this is how the story started. So it would make sense that they are now doing this little like vid jab into the community. Hello, it would make sense if they are going to release the game, like I said, around that time. And I am hoping to see some marketing starting soon, to be honest, because I'm really wondering about the game, and it's been quite some time, so I think more people are already wondering. And I can see we have also Tekla. Oh, hey, I played Horizon Zero Dawn as one of my first games when I got the PS4. Nice to see you here. Hey. And Snake is saying, I know you're falling. What is it? Falling in English is not your first language, but it's pronounced gay Ryzen. Yeah, it's not so. I'm like playing in the game in the meantime, the Horizon Forbidden West, and there are some things which I'm noticing like changed from Horizon Zero Dawn, and I'm not fond of all the changes, like I said. So yeah, not going to comment on that one. I will make a review for the game then when I'm done, and also the in a nutshell. So I'm definitely going to roast it a little bit in the nutshell with. And Luis is greeting everyone. Okay, so I'm really happy that more of you are here. That's nice to see you here. Back to what is also related to Horizon, I think, is I was wondering, and that was the assumption from many people, that the third game for the Horizon series, will be a flagship title for the new PS6. And now we have the information that PS6 got a bit delayed, or will most probably be delayed. It does go hand in hand with the increased RAM prices, but also some other stuff. I will show you on the screen shortly what I mean. There was let's say, an announcement or some information in which Sony basically says that they would like to extend the life cycle of the PS5, and that would mean PS6 will be delayed. I will show you. which again makes me wonder then about Horizon 3. If it's not going to be, let's say, a cross-gen title and a flagship title for the PS6, then what does that mean? Is there maybe a delay because they were preparing it for PS6, but now they have to just focus on the PS5 aspect of the game, like from a technical point of view? What impact will it have on the game's release? I would say normally it should not have hopefully a positive impact. It should not be more delayed. I think they would just release it on PS5 then, and let's say make it PS6 ready. Whenever the PS6 will be releasing. It's a good question, but it's one more reason for me to think that they will no longer, let's say, wait with the marketing and no longer wait with the announcement of the new game, because if the PS6 is going to be delayed for a very questionable time, so we don't know until when, they cannot wait with the game for I don't know how long, just because of the PS6. So I do believe that it will be then really released separately from the PS6 official release, and the game will not, or the PS6 will not have an impact on the game's release. So it makes me wonder. And another, let's say, speculation or question for me is then, will it really release in 2027? We have to keep in mind what's releasing in 2027. Okay, aside from stuff like Exodus, The Witcher 4, I think will be releasing in 2027, also, or late 27. That's the current estimate, I think. And the GTA 6 officially, yes, it will be releasing this November. But for PlayStation and Xbox. And the PC release is actually planned for a couple of months later. It's not yet confirmed, like the date is not yet confirmed, but it would also mean that for the PCs, GTA 6 would release then in 27. So 27 is already a year that will be full with huge titles. To release it in 27 is just, again, going to be competing with a lot of other companies and another, let's say, big franchises that are there. So, yeah, I don't know. It's very questionable. Let me go back then to the desktop and show you, but I'm just noticing that you're writing, Jesus, PS5 has been around for 5 years already. I'm old. That's from Louis. I think we're all noticing how old we get by the release times of the PlayStations and Xboxes and everything. Yeah, let me... yeah, Snake is saying, I love how all these game companies make a masterpiece and went, okay, let's make it better by putting all personal opinions and ideas that no one asked for exactly. Yes, that is something that I have noticed. So for me, like I said, Horizon Zero Dawn had this wide appeal and was so beloved also by people maybe who are not hardcore gamers, or let's say the normies, because it didn't have like any politics or ideologies in it, and it didn't really bother with certain things like, I don't know, romances. That was one of the things which was announced way back when, during the time when they were just preparing for Horizon Forbidden West, and Horizon Zero Dawn was already a big success. And I think there was an interview, I would have to look it up, but I think there was an interview with Guerrilla, and they were saying like they didn't want to include romance in the game because it would be out of place. They wanted to focus on let's say this big story, which is basically what happened to the world, how the world is currently falling apart, and that Aloy really needs to focus on, let's say, fixing all the stuff. And then Horizon Forbidden West releases, and then you see the DLC release, and suddenly, boom, romance. So, yes, it was kind of weird to see, especially after when they were previously saying that they will not include the romances. It's not that I'm against it. Like, people already also got the wrong impression. I'm not against it. It's just that for me, it's not the most important bit, and I appreciated the story as it was. So, whether they would include it or not, I don't really care. But I find it kind of laughable when I see this contradiction when they are saying first, during the first like after the first game is a big success, when they are just working on the second, they were saying, okay, romances are not so important, and then suddenly, boom, yeah, there is a romance, and yeah, boom, it's gay or lesbian or whatever. So it just you couldn't make it more political, I would say, than that. So again, just stuff the woke nonsense everywhere. Don't get me wrong, Guerrilla has always been a rainbow company for me, so that's fine. I never really bothered commenting on that, because the game was really the first game, Horizon Zero Dawn, like had nothing of this nonsense. It was just working fine, and even what the people were like commenting on, I don't know, the diversity in the game, it makes sense considering how the universe is set up in that in-game universe. It absolutely makes sense for me. I was never wondering about it. It was just normal. It was okay, and it wasn't like pushed there just to be there. It really made sense in the context of how it was set up. Nothing felt forced. And now in that second game, some of the stuff is just, I don't really enjoy seeing some of the stuff, to be honest. So yeah, not the way how they, for example, changed also, let's say, a little bit the character of Aloy. I'm noticing that before that she was kind of, I don't want to say rude. She wasn't necessarily rude. She was just like having no filter in Horizon Zero Dawn, and that's simply because of how she grew up. But she wasn't mean. She was just blunt. And now in that second game in Horizon Forbidden West, I'm noticing that sometimes she's just saying something to other people which is like out of character from my perspective. She's just rude, really unnecessarily rude, and I'm just not fond of that. It's one thing to try to instill in the player a sense of urgency. I don't have time for this discussion or this quest right now. I have bigger problems to fix. Okay, and we all know that, but it still doesn't mean that you suddenly make the main character rude and impolite and just it's not, there's a difference, you know. So there's little details which I'm noticing like that. So I'm not fond of some changes in Horizon Forbidden West. I still enjoy the game as such. I really like the story so far. I really enjoy you know, the gameplay, and I enjoy the various different like cultures again, or tribes which they have introduced, and they played with the details like the environments and stuff. And I do find some of the gameplay improvements better. Some are not so great for me. I was complaining already about it during the playthrough that I started officially on the channel. You have seen the first few bits. But in general, I like the improvements. But there are some things more like, let's say, character-wise or this interaction-wise, which I'm not so fond of. So, yeah. I'm seeing that the chat is alive. Good. Tekla is saying, it used to be like, oh, my nephew has a first communion, I'm getting old, and now it's, then my console is getting up there in age. Yes, exactly. New time measurement, not looking at the kids, how the kids get older, but how the consoles are getting older. Yes, and for PC gamers, the GPUs, when they don't make it anymore, when you are like me playing only on the minimum requirements, you know, it's time to change, and the computer is old. Alois is saying, hey, now my nephew is also growing with xenomorph speed. Okay. Yeah, good. Okay, so let me show you back again the desktop, what I have prepared, because there is this, wait, let me find it. There is this information regarding the, I hope I didn't close the damn thing, regarding the delay in the PlayStations. Did I close it? Nah, I didn't. Okay. Let me share it. Okay, so you can see there is, I found something interesting in this article, and it is basically saying that was regarding the GTA 6, so the confirmed release date, which they were announcing, is for consoles, but not PC. So the PC version will be coming later. And they were also discussing here, like when, and potentially in late 27 or early 28. So again, for the PC gamers, the Third Horizon game will be coinciding with this one, which is not so great. And the expected system requirements were actually posted also here. So in case you want to have a look at those, you feel free. What I do like, and what is I think also going hand in hand with the current problems with the RAMs, is the RAM. 8 GB will be definitely the minimum, and 16 recommended, but I think they are already very careful, because I'm not sure if you have noticed, but the most of the GPUs which are no longer either available or are having like exorbitant pricing are the 16 GB and higher. I don't even talk about the 32 GB ones. And even if you look at pre-built PCs, most of them, at least most that I could find, still available with some good GPUs and CPUs. Those had 8 GB RAMs, not 16. So even the pre-builds are already like only available on this, let's say, lower end. Yeah, I think the companies will have to be careful when they are creating new games now, because if this is continuing, sure, if you are, let's say, launching something on an existing console, you don't really care about the PC gamers and what problems they have in upgrading their PCs, but if in case you are planning to actually release your game on the PC, whether immediately or a couple of months later, you will probably have to think about it, that not all of the people will be able to upgrade, not with the current pricing, and also some of the GPUs will not even be available on the market anymore. So you cannot expect them to fulfill requirements which will be like completely nonsensical, because nobody will have this kind of GPU or CPU, right? So yeah, I think this will be this is still like let's say good expectation. I'm hoping they will not go too much higher, because again, people will have a problem. So yeah, and I think there are some prices, but yeah, it's a good question. What will be the real price? And then, of course, this is not in dollars or euros. Don't worry. So that much for the GTA, which will probably coincide, and then also the information regarding the PS6. There was a couple of articles in the last few days which was talking about the PS6 delays, and I did pick this one because it also says, okay, it's rumors, nothing's really confirmed yet, but of a PS6 delay due to worldwide RAM shortages and exploding hardware prices. So that's why, as you can see here in this screenshot, PlayStation lifecycle extended. Sony expects the PS5's lifecycle to be extended, and the PS6 release is likely to be delayed longer than many expected, which is exactly what we were talking about. It definitely will have an impact on the new games then as well. So if originally the devs have planned to release the games on a PS6, it might not be feasible, and they will focus more probably on PS5, and then they should also probably be careful about the system requirements for PCs. So yeah. And the next topic then, which I have, is Sony, Netflix, etc. Let me just skip again to see your chat. I hate how console and PC focus on performance, but they lack the story or having you suck into it. Like, oh my god, dude! Like Oregon Trail back in the day, you got sucking into it. That's from Snake. That's the problem. What I have mentioned also previously when we were talking about which game was it? When I've mentioned I find the ridiculous how also the space requirements are exploding. Like you need for one game, I don't know, 150 gigabytes of space, and it's just demanding because you can see, I don't know, every single leaf on a tree, or if they show a person's face, you can see every single pore on that person's face. Who needs that? Nobody. I would rather see less of these kind of details and have a game in a manageable, normal size, which is not demanding from me a GPU that costs me an arm and a leg, you know? It's just, it's great that it's looking so realistic, but if you don't really have a good story behind it, or you don't have a good writing behind it, that's what you were also mentioning, I don't care then about all of those details. The game will be crap anyway, and then it's just eating up storage, and it was good for nothing for me, I don't know, to upgrade, you know? So yeah, I think it's just going in the wrong direction. Look at the games like, I don't know, The Witcher 3. That was released already 12 years ago or something like that. Look at the requirements back then, and what a wonderful, huge game and detailed game it is, and how fantastic it's still looking even these days when you compare it with some of the games that are releasing today. And you didn't need a GPU like that, and you didn't need, I don't know, 150 gigabytes of space. It's just ridiculous. It's going for me in the wrong direction, to be honest. It's just they are paying too much attention to these technicalities instead of focusing on the story and on the characters. You're absolutely right there. So the more important stuff is just pushed aside because, yeah, we need to now create, I don't know, an entire tree with hundreds of thousands of leaves, and I will now spend I don't know how many hours just to create those leaves on the tree. And who cares about the story and that the dialogue is shit? Yeah. Yeah, it's just not going in the right direction. Tekla is saying, but PS Plus had Horizon Lego that month, so I downloaded that for him, and he wasn't interested with others. That is about the nephew, right? It's not. I think Lego games in general, they have like their own kind of humor, and so also not all of the kids and they're going to like it. So yeah, that's probably one of the reasons. I'm just guessing here though. If you squint, the Dark Souls is basically a fairy tale with knights, dragons, and princesses. I'm wondering then though about the age of the nephew. I'm not sure if I would let kids under a certain age play the game. He normally plays Minecraft, but he told me he likes to shoot zombies too. So maybe I should have made him fight undead in Dark Souls. Okay, it was a good discussion that you are having, guys. Good, let me switch to the topic with Sony, but before I do, I will take a tiny break again, because my nose is full and I have to drink something, so just give me a few seconds and I will be back right away. Okay, I'm back. Thank you very much for your patience. I did turn off the microphone. It would just tear your ears off if I would leave it on. Good. Let me go to the next topic, and that was mentioned, the Sony Pictures, which have been, let's say, prolonging a certain license. Let me show you. We were talking about Netflix and Warner Bros. So they want to acquire Warner Brothers. And with Sony Pictures Entertainment, it's not necessarily acquiring them, but it's like kind of a deal that they've made. Let me just switch and show it to you. So basically what happened is the Sony Pictures Entertainment or Sony Movies, Netflix will remain streaming them for the people. So they will be using Netflix as the streaming platform. That means after the theatrical releases, so after they had the release in the theaters and in cable TVs and TVs, then they will give, let's say, the licensing rights to Netflix, and Netflix will continue to stream the movies. That's actually a very big positive for Netflix, because they will be able to expand their catalog. So you will not only see, let's say, some TV series or something of their own production, but we should be able to see more of the movies. And if you look at what is written here, so basically they have signed a new multi-year deal for the streaming service to get the exclusive global rights to the Legacy Studios film after their full theatrical and home entertainment runs. So you should be still able to find the movies which were releasing in the theaters maybe, I don't know, 2-3 years ago. You should still be able to find them later on Netflix, and you should be able to watch them. And you can also see that they already have it currently. So Netflix is currently already having the rights, which is in the United States, Germany, and across Southeast Asia. So they were already doing, let's say, the streaming service for Sony Pictures Entertainment. And they will now from 2029, I think it's, it comes into full effect in early 2029. You should be able to see it worldwide, globally. So I think it's a good news for those people that do like Netflix and who have Netflix. So they should have a bigger variety of the stuff that's offered on the streaming platform. And it will be definitely something to think about when we are talking about this monopolization. Yes, this is something different than buying Warner Brothers. But just add it together. If they will buy Warner Brothers, they will have their entire catalog available. The catalog of all the IPs, all the movies, series, whatever, they can just stream them forever. And on top of that, they are able now to stream also Sony Pictures Entertainment movies. So they are having definitely a bigger advantage now compared to, for example, I don't know, Disney Plus or Amazon. Definitely. And it will just give them more advantages against their competitors. And I think this is also something that probably might play into the regulatory review for the Warner Brothers sale. If they are about to buy them, and this information will be then also part of the, let's say, review, it will be maybe considered as even a bigger monopolization. I don't know. So it's just something interesting that just popped up, and it's also something to keep in mind. I think there was also here something mentioned. And I will also, of course, post all the links in the description below, so you can read through all of the stuff. There's mentioned, for example, like what will be part of this licensing agreement, and it will be Uncharted, Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse, then I don't know, Venom, for example. So there's a couple of really big names which are again like being acquired by Netflix, so they have the right to stream them. It is definitely something to think about. So yeah, not sure if you have heard about it, but in case you have Netflix, you might be able to see, let's say, a bigger variety of what's being offered, although the global agreement is from early 29, as I said, so it's still quite a few years in the future. Let me see what you are writing. And Snake is saying how not to make a game that people will love. Step 1, listen to the 1% of whatever them people and all your employees have. Blue or pink hair. Yeah. Step 2, do not listen to the 99% of people who... Yeah, I don't see the next post, but I can guess what you're going to say. Yeah, that's what happened with already a couple of games we've seen lately. So it was very clear that the games were made for the modern audience and not really with the real players in mind. And I just, what baffles me honestly is that before such games even come out, when we see the first trailers, when we see the first gameplay vids, and when we see and hear more of the game before it even releases, many people are already pointing out, okay, this is not going to end well, it's just not appealing. Then you get to hear, it's just Childs again, and anti-woke crowd, whatever. It's not necessarily it, and oftentimes the criticism is not necessarily just because of woke stuff. You can see when there is blatantly bad writing. You can already see it oftentimes, or you can see, for example, like we could see in Dragon Age the Veilguard with the very first trailer. That trailer had no dialogues, it had nothing else than just showing the characters and showing, let's say, what the game looks like. So you could see let's say, this cartoonish style, and you could hear the music that they have chosen for the trailer, and people already knew based on that it's not going to be so great. And it had not necessarily something to do with being anti-woke, it just, you could just see that the game it's not fitting the franchise. It just looks completely off, and that's what the people were highlighting already with the first trailer. And every time you see something like this happen, it is just confirmed after the game then releases. There's rarely a positive surprise. Most of the time, people who are pointing out that there's something wrong are usually proven right, because actually when the game releases, you can see, okay, it's crap. In the end, no matter which side is going to scream louder, the wallets of the people who are buying the game are going to decide. So the gamers are going to decide and, let's say, vote with their wallets. And the brainless take from the studios is always surprising to me when you see game A failing, game B failing, because they had stuff that's not really appealing to the gamers, and they, for example, like you said, they don't give a rat's ass about the story or good writing, and they focus on something which is completely unimportant, or even goes against what is appealing to the gamers, and they just do completely the opposite. And then they wonder why nobody buys the game. And then the next studio is creating the next game, and they say, oh yeah, you know what, let's repeat it again. It just, for me, it's just baffling how brainless these decisions are. Like, you see failing, game A, game B, game C, all of those games are failing, people pointing out what's wrong, and you implement these things which people point out that they are wrong, and you implement it in your game, and then you expect it again to sell. It's not going to sell. It's just, I just can't believe that the studios keep doing that. So yeah. Yeah, the step 2, do not listen to the 99% of people who are loyal and love the story and the game since they were kids. And yeah. Step 3, 99% of your game or base tells you how to make it better. You do not listen to them and respond with non-stop gaslighting. Yeah, that's also another... I don't understand this brainless take. Like, instead of listening to the criticism and actually thinking about, okay, maybe it's really time to improve something. If I hear how many people are saying that this and this is not good, then maybe I should think about it. And instead they're gaslighting you. I mean, yeah, it's, yeah. Step 4, just pay attention to those paid game reviews that you spend all that money on and just read those bot comments like it's the Bible. Yeah. Step 5, watch it burn. And then step 6 should be you are another studio. You are watching step 1 to step 5 of somebody else, and then you decide to repeat it for yourself. Yeah. Yeah. Like I said, brainless takes. I don't understand it. Yeah. Okay. and then of course somebody's going to tell you that if you are going to release a game and you are having an early review for the game, that the early review is definitely true and faithful and everything. No, I don't think so. Most of the people who are getting this type of access, they have to sign some sort of NDA, and they cannot really say the truth. We could see it already on that 007 first slide, this IOI requirement, which I have mentioned. So they have on their page the requirement of what a content creator has to fulfill in order to get this kind of access and maybe get a game for free. And basically what they are saying is that you have to write what appeases them instead of the truth, and they have the right to control everything that you are going to release. And it's curated content, I would say. Yeah, I would die on this hill. Just made these DLCs and everyone is happy. Yeah, that's from Snake. Yeah. I mean, yeah. There's not much more I can say. I agree with you. Let me switch here and let me see what else we have. Because I have more and more and more, of course. I think the next topic is quite interesting. It's regarding good old games, or GOG, as we said with Louis, or GOG for the English speakers. It was acquired by Kicinski, who was the original founder. And they were discussing in an interview with him, and I will show you the interview in a while, why he did acquire the platform from CDPR, because CDPR was the, let's say, the owner on top of GOG. And they were just a part of the bigger company. I believe that there was a disconnect between the direction into which CDPR wanted to go. They just really wanted to focus on the games, and the GOG platform was kind of governed through CDPR, and they really didn't have the, let's say, freedom to decide the future projects which they would like to work on. It is also understandable because, let's be honest, the platform is barely, let's say, breaking even. So they are not really making a big profit. So there have been years where they made minus 1%, and then there were years where they made plus 1%. So basically they're just breaking even, and CDPR operates in the meantime at massive margins. So there was a disconnect between the two companies. And when they were discussing the interview, so I just wrote down from the interview a couple of key points. Basically, I'm going to show you the interview, but the agreement to sell GOG was basically something that the CDPR was planning already for a longer time. And there were actually already other competitors as well, like bidding for GOG. So thankfully, it went to one of the original owners. Kicinski is one of the original founders, both of GOG and CDPR. And I think he still has shares in CDPR, about 10% or something like that. And they didn't want to, let's say, compete internally with other parts of CDPR, so they found it better to split it out. And CDPR also doesn't have to, let's say, fund them in case they don't make it or don't break even. And I think what Kicinski wants to really focus on is something what GOG is already very famous for, and that's the DRM-free games and the older games. And what they want to focus on is basically keep older games also alive. So they also have been big advocates for games not being just simply removed from the publishers' catalogs. And they are trying to, let's say, save even those older games by hosting them themselves and just keeping them alive for years to come. So they first of all, the preservation of games is something which is very important to them. The DRM free games, that's something that's important for them. And just in case, FYI, I'm pretty sure most people know it, but just in case you don't, so DRM means first and foremost that you can, and I wrote it down, use, copy and play your game freely on multiple devices offline and without needing constant online authentication or platform-specific accounts. And I think this one is really the important bit, which most people don't realize. If you have DRM-free and you are buying a game which is, for example, coming from EA or which is coming from Sony, like Horizon, usually you have to have an account to be able to play the game. So you either have to have a EA account or whatever. A Horizon is actually a good example of how it works with GOG. The first game, Horizon Zero Dawn, which Guerrilla released, let's say still relatively independently, was DRM-free, available on GOG. I actually have Zero Dawn through GOG. I don't have it through Steam. And for Horizon Forbidden West, they didn't allow anymore. Sony didn't allow anymore to the game to be sold through GOG because they didn't want it to be DRM free. Why? Because they actually wanted people to have an account with them. So you were not able to play without the PSN account, which was their main goal, you know. And this is why you don't find Horizon Forbidden West on GOG, for example. On the other hand, we could see that lately on the last sale, which they were showing, it's actually visible in one of the screenshots which I posted in a vid. They are offering not just older games, they are also offering newer games from publishers who don't mind actually if the games are being sold DRM free. And they see, let's say, the positives. So for example, the Expedition 33, it was on sale through GOG not so long ago, and they have it in their catalog still, and they are offering it. And there are also newer games. So it's not just about old games, but it is about, let's say, preserving this individual opportunity of the players to have something when they are paying for a game, to have it offline for themselves, to be playable whenever they want. If you buy it once and you have, I don't know, 5 different devices and you are at home, you have 3 different PCs, you should be able to play them, you know, on the game on all of those. You should not have to have an account. For me, it doesn't make sense, the PSN account, to be honest. So yeah, it's definitely something where I really appreciate the GOG's approach and what they said, what their future aim is and future plans, and I really appreciate that a lot. Is aside from all of this, that they will continue releasing games DRM free. They also want to try to focus on expanding their let's say, offers into buying older games and older franchises and make remakes or remasters, the versions rather. I don't think that they want to meddle with the games in terms of changing anything on the story or changing anything on how they are, but they rather want to make sure that the older games are still having a very good quality when they are played these days on newer PCs. So their future plans is also to going into this territory. They want to expand there. So we should be seeing GOG like not as competing with Steam, I would say. They are not trying that because Steam is too huge. Their aim is a little bit different, and I think there's a lot of people who appreciate that. So, for example, for me, whenever I'm looking into buying a new game, my first go-to platform is GOG because I do want these offline installers. I do want this DRM-free game, and I don't want to have to create an account. So when the game is available there, my first go-to place is GOG, and then I go to Steam if it's not available there. So yes, not all of the games will be there because some publishers don't agree to that, but still, it's worth checking out. Price-wise, actually, what I have noticed over the last few, more than 2 years at least, they have already adjusted. When there is a Steam sale, you will see on GOG the same game for the same price. So they are competing. They are having also a sale, and you will find it for the same price as well on GOG. And in that case, for me, it's a simple question. What do I want? The price is the same. Do I want to buy the game with DRM and I have to have an online access only, or can I play it offline and have it DRM free? It's a no-brainer for me. I go to GOG and buy there. So if you look at buying a game, look if it's not available both on GOG and Steam. And you can bet your ass that if the game is on sale on Steam, it will be on sale on GOG as well. I've noticed that. So FYI, I see you are writing quite a lot. Let me look at what you are writing. Okay, so Tekla is saying the biggest issue about GOG was its connection to CDPR, who we know are woke as fuck. Yes, yeah. I think that's also one of the things which is like not being said out loud, but it will be definitely like something positive, to be honest. I think CDPR is very corporate already at this point. There's no way how else to say it. They're very corporate, okay? And it's reflected there. And I think GOG is trying not to. They are still trying to remain the based Polish company that they were. So that's great. More companies should go private. Yeah. And then... yeah, every time a company goes public, it just goes wrong to stay private so you can make it the way you want. That's from Snake. Larian is a good example, by the way. I mean, yes, they do include certain things in their games. I mean, in Baldur's Gate 3, people have been criticizing, yeah, this is Vogue, that is Vogue. Still, the game was a huge success, and Larian they didn't have an external pressure to include all this stuff in their game. They did it because they wanted it. Now look at the newest trailer for Divinity. It's the exact opposite. It's like if I have to use the term already, it's the anti-wokest shit that there can be, because there's everything in the trailer that probably will make a lot of the woke people pearl clutching and falling apart internally and have mental breakdowns, because you've seen probably the trailer. I'm not going to play it because I don't want to like be hit with with some kind of restriction from YouTube. I don't think that they take kindly to this trailer. So Larian is a good example. There's no forced push from somewhere on the top to have this in the game and have that in the game. They are really free to do whatever they want with the game that they are creating. And Divinity is actually their own IP. Baldur's Gate is not, but Divinity is their own IP, and you can now clearly see on Divinity and the trailer that yes, this is what it looks like when you have a private company. You don't have this corporate nonsense, and they are using their own IP. They can damn well do whatever they want, and I'm really looking forward, by the way, to Divinity. I was thinking about like making a vid about that, but I think there are again some channels which are a little bit better at covering the story. I don't want to spread myself too thin, but probably I will do at least like 1 or 2 vids just when there is something interesting. I was playing a lot of the Divinity games, and I also have the review on my channel for Divinity Original Sin. So I am appreciating Galarian for quite a few years already, and I also like turn-based games. So that is definitely something that I appreciate. And like I said, yeah, you can see clearly on Divinity that they are private and they are doing whatever the hell they want. So yeah, I'm looking forward to that game, to be honest. And Snake is saying, I wish if they're going to kill Silva, they just release the game to the community to mod it and keep it alive themselves. Modding, that was, I think, mentioned not in that interview, which I will show you, but I think elsewhere when I was reading a couple of discussions about modding and modding communities, Nexus is kind of already evolving into a situation where, you know, if you are not creating rainbow mods, let me put it that way, then you will not have much success, and your mods will be even removed from the platform. There have been plenty of examples like that, so people have been already commenting on that. And the platform is really not going into a great direction. It sort of reminds me of Reddit in a certain sense. So yeah, you should not. They will not allow you to make mods which the mods. How to put it? Which the moderators of the Nexus mods platform do not appreciate. Let me put it that way. And somebody mentioned that the GOG maybe when they are going into this direction of, working on older games and DRM-free games and offline installers, etc., maybe they could potentially expand their future plans in starting to, let's say, meddle in the mods business as well. Maybe create a platform for mods where the mods could be shared without, let's say, these kind of limitations that we see on Nexus mods. And I don't think it's a bad idea. It's definitely something to think about, because the modding community is huge. No matter what the game is, there will always be some modders making some mods, and if you want to give more space to the players to come to your platform and offer them something more, and offering them an option to also, let's say, have a space for mods would be a big plus, aside from just having these DRM-free games. So it was mentioned somewhere, and I think it was a great idea. And when you are mentioning mods, it could be something that CDPR, the GOG might think about now that they are not with CDPR anymore. That's what I wanted to say. And Tekla is again saying, when CDPR got listed on Polish stock market in 2016, I thought that's not gonna go well. I didn't know anything about ESG, etc. at the time. Then they opened the shop in Canada. Yeah, cooked. I think every time you see a company like going public and starting to offer shares, it is it will not take a long time until people like BlackRock, somewhere way back in the background, will get their hands on it and buy the shares. Whenever you go public and offer shares, you have no longer control anymore about who's buying those shares and who in the end will be then influencing your company. So I do appreciate when a company stays private, and I think that is something that was so important also for Larian, and that it was a great decision that they did it. Snake is saying, wasn't there a YouTuber named Pirate something that almost killed this movement? Yes. Yes. And Tekla is replying, yeah, Pirate Software didn't kill it, but he told his audience to not support Stop Killing Games. He was an a-hole about it too. Yes, agreed. Yes, and I'm glad that it had the opposite effect, and that actually people started to realize that there is this kind of movement, and that people just don't want this anymore. It's something basically what's happening now with Anthem. That was one of the topics which I have mentioned. EA decided to shut down some servers, and the Anthem server is one of them. And it's just, again, one more game that you will not be able to play anymore. A game that people originally bought, paid something for, and now you will lose the access to that game and you will no longer be able to play it. And coming back to GOG, that's something that they want to avoid. They really want to preserve older games if they can. So if they can, let's say, host them on their servers, they're going to do that. But there has to be an agreement also from the original publisher's side. They have to agree with that. And I am pretty sure that there will be companies who will not allow it just simply because they are stubborn and they don't want to, yeah. Or because the companies are assholes, if we can put it that way. Yes, Pirate Software. I remember Sisa's reaction. That's a dude, yes. Because at first I didn't know the guy. I only seen a picture. And that was a picture where I wasn't sure, is it a dude or no? so, okay, when I heard him talking later, okay, it was clear that it's a dude. Although I do think that some people said that he had like an adjusted microphone so that his voice sounds like more manly, which wouldn't surprise me. I wasn't so sure by his looks, so but that was in the beginning, okay. I like I said, I didn't know the guy, so I don't know really that many, let's say, Twitch streamers or people who are streaming. I know that many people are on both platforms, Twitch and YouTube, but most of those that are just, let's say, on Twitch or coming from Twitch and are mainly known there, and on YouTube they don't really have such a big presence. I never really cared about streamers, to be honest. I rather appreciate people who have long-form vids just the same way as I do. Rather than streamers, to be honest. So yeah, Spell and Shield is actually a good YouTube channel where you have really good takes and interesting games, and he's also oftentimes talking about games that you might not be aware of. So I really appreciate his channel, for example. So I do prefer gaming channels like this instead of streaming channels, to be honest. And Louis is saying his voice is controversial. Yes. We are talking about Pirate Software now. Good. Let me share again on the screen. Let me just check my notes. Oh yeah. Let me skip that. Let me switch again to show you. Desktop. Okay. And yeah, that was about the GOG. So I was just looking into it, and I just wanted to highlight for you as well, just so that people are aware that Kicinski is really the founder of both GOG and CD Projekt Red. So he's still keeping his shares in CDPR, and I would say it's a good thing that he's doing, because those shares went up quite a bit lately again. And I'm happy for him that he can now focus on GOG, because I think he's also saying it here in the interview. So here's the announcement. And there's this interview. Let me just go back up so you can see it. So it's basically in the games industry biz. And there's an entire interview with him. Not just with him, I think there were also other people who have been talking about the GOG and CDPR, etc. And he's one of them. And I think there is somewhere in this interview where he said like GOG was always his baby. So he basically has a special relationship with the company. And you know, it's really in good hands if it's the original founder. So I'm really happy that it stayed with somebody who was there from the start. So that's an important bit. I did find this a little bit funny. He was mentioning regarding the DRM. I didn't even know that. And I really loved The Witcher 2. I'm still not 100% decided whether Witcher 2 or Witcher 3 are my most favorite Witcher games. Because Witcher 2 was kind of something that I really, really appreciated. I replayed it 100 times. I really loved the game. And I was surprised because they did release it with Bandai Namco behind their backs. So it was they were the publisher. And I didn't know about this. So most corporate people like make plain stupid decisions. I had first-hand experience on this with The Witcher 2. That's regarding the DRM. Where our own publisher sued us. CDPR sent out an update to The Witcher 2 after release that removed the DRM, which prompted Bandai Namco to take legal action. So yeah, like he said, corporate people make plain stupid decisions. Goes hand in hand with what you said, Snakey. So yeah. I was surprised about this, but I will be definitely posting a link for this entire article in the description below, so you can read it then for yourself. And the next thing, which I found quite amusing, I would say, is Mike Gamble is hiring. Mike Gamble is the director for Mass Effect 5 in ZombieWare. And they are hiring, and of course the people have been reacting, and there's been quite a few people who were like asking, okay, can I not join even if I have no experience? What I find rather, let's say, amusing is that the hiring position, which is here, so when I opened the position and I was looking into it, here's the general information. Let me reopen it again. And so when I was opening it, so it says the general information here. Of course, it's in Canada because they are sitting in Canada. The ZombieWare studio, etc., etc. I was just scrolling through, and then I come to the end, about Electronic Arts. And I start to laugh like crazy. All employment decisions are made without regard to race, color, national origin, ancestry, sex, gender identity or expression, sexual orientation, age, genetic information, whatever. I mean, they list down everything. Without, they don't, like, all these decisions, that has nothing to do with their decisions. No, of course not. And then, of course, you read and a couple of articles where they are bragging about how they increased, I don't know, the amount of women in their company, and EA hired underrepresented talent above current representation rates, and they increased underrepresented talent by 46% over the last 2 years. Oh, really? So that means you do pay attention, like what sex or gender or skin color somebody has. Otherwise, you wouldn't be able to pull up this kind of statistics, no? That you have increased by 46% the underrepresented talent. What is underrepresented talent? So I just have to laugh when I read this. This is such BS, corporate BS. Yes, this is an older article. This is, I think, from 2023 or something like that. But still, the logic is the same. They are telling you that we are not looking at this when we are hiring. No. And when we are promoting people, we are not looking at this. And then they release half a year later a statistics, and they are telling you, I don't know, people with this skin color have increased by that many percent, and people of this sex have increased by that many percent in our company. Okay, so if you're not looking at this, then how come you have these statistics? I mean, this corporate BS is just something that makes me laugh when I read it. It's just, yeah. So it's a side note, has nothing to do with the post from Gamble, but I just couldn't when I have seen the job posting here, and then I have seen this nonsense, and then you read something like this, like, oh, come on. It's a typical corporate BS, okay? Let me just have a look at the chat. Okay. Snake is saying, yeah, it's hard for me to know if Mass Effect 2 or 3 is my favorite. And it's the same basically with Mass Effect as well. Yes. It's also in like the first game in the series. That's both Mass Effect and The Witcher trilogy. The first game is kind of legendary because it just started the whole thing, right? So yes, we fell in love with the games with the first game, but then the second game came out and it was much better, and it was so much improved compared to all the little details that we didn't like in the first game. And the second usually was something where you've seen so much improvements that many people fell really in love with the second. And then usually there was a bigger time lag between the second and the third, both in Mass Effect and I think in The Witcher 3 as well. So people had more time to play the second, and still comparing it first versus second. And most people were just, oh, I love the second. Then the third came. Of course, people were loving it because it was, again, better graphics, the conclusion of the entire story towards which were you working throughout the trilogy, etc. So it has its own appeal, and both of the games were, let's say, bigger or longer than the previous ones. So naturally, people like them because of that too. Bigger, better content, whatever. But you still come back to that second because that's like the baby that you had most time with and you love to play. So, and that's for me as well. Mass Effect 2 and The Witcher 2. There are so many things which are good in the third game, both Witcher and Mass Effect, that I really love the third one, but I'm just not sure if it just trumps that second one. I just don't know. It doesn't top it. So yeah, I can understand you in that regard. Okay, let me read through a little bit. Oh, come on, Witcher 1 is king. It is a good game, but still it had its flaws. I don't know. For example, what I didn't really like, to be honest, for me, there's a ton of missable content. In terms of if you're not speaking to, at least not trying to speak to all the NPCs, at least when you're playing the game for the first or second time, you don't remember like whom to talk to get this quest. And then you're just chatting with all sorts of NPCs and just and you're walking through a street in a city, and it takes you forever because you're trying to talk to every single NPC and it's just killing you. It's just an example, right? So there were a few things which I wasn't so fond of, and I did like it that it was a little bit better in the second game. So yes, it was a great game, but not as much as the second. And Lois is saying, my relative went to the US about 10 years ago. He's gone from making fun of Trump to saying he would now vote for him because of the identity politics and corporate quota. I can say I agree with him on everything, but he's certainly not always online, so he has to know what he's talking about. It's like with all of the politicians, I have to say, I'm not really following up on the politics in general. I don't even care about the politics here in this country, to be honest. As long as they don't touch my pension, I don't care. But if they burn and burn everything to the ground, just keep the pensions alive, I'm fine. I don't care. So yeah, I just kind of gave up on politics quite a few years ago already, and I'm quite disillusioned. It doesn't matter whether it's left, right, center, and it doesn't matter if it's this country, that country, or whatever country. It's just the same morons everywhere. I don't have a good opinion on politicians. But just objectively seen, I do understand people when they are saying that they just go to vote for somebody else or something else than they did so far. Because in the last few years, all of the political parties went kind of to extremes, or they had certain, I don't know how to put it nicely. I don't want to curse too much. They either have certain very extreme opinions, for example, on censorship or anti-censorship. And I think the middle ground is getting lost. And I just don't find many of the politicians appealing. But I do understand that if you have just to choose between, let's say, two options, and you have to choose either one or the other, then if you have been so far voting for the, let's say, option A, and option A has disappointed you already multiple times, then naturally now we are going towards option B. If there is no option C or anything else, you either don't vote at all, or you are going to the other option and choose that. So I do understand it from this perspective. I've seen it, whether it was left, right, and whether it was this country or that country, it doesn't really matter. I've seen it way too often happening in the past few years. Many people are disillusioned, I think. Probably not to the point as I am, where I said already I'm not going to vote at all anymore. And that's what I also did already the last time. I just didn't. It doesn't make sense. For me, I am not going into details. Like I said, I don't want to really be political, let's say, on this channel. But yeah, I can understand when people are, let's say, switching sides because they are already so fed up with what's currently going on. But for me, I don't really see either side really having, like, offering you the best option, because they all have their flaws. It's just not something that I would like to choose between, to be honest. But I have understanding for something like this, to be honest. And Snake is saying, I mean, just like Witcher 1, Halo, and Mass Effect, there was just so much bugs and bad graphics and stuff. Yeah. I said all that, and Louise is saying, I said all that in connection to that BioWare recruitment. It's one thing to comment on identity politics in games, but it's quite crazy to see the same controversy in real life. That's also something where I think I'm not really so fond of seeing, and why I am also criticizing, let's say, everything that's woke, and I will continue to do that, because there's being real life politics stuffed into gaming, which is not about real life. Gaming always for me has been the escape from, let's say, reality. It doesn't mean that you are not handling specific topics in your games. Of course, naturally you are going to handle those topics, I don't know, racism or war and peace and relationships and everything. It's something that we see in real life, and it's also being handled in games. But in games, it's usually, and that's when it's good, when it's handled within the in-game universe of that particular game, and not real-life politics. Like, don't bring real-life politics into games, and we're fine. I don't care what else you stuff into the game, just don't stuff the real-life bullshit. I'm not interested. You know, and that, I think that's the problem, that the real-life stuff started to be pushed into games. And it's just no longer fun anymore. I I just want to play a game and have fun with it and not choose fucking pronouns, to be honest. Sorry, but I just had to put it this way. Yeah. Like I said, when I'm again going to see a game with body type A and body type B, and I don't care, even if it's, I will be honest, even if it's Expanse or Osiris Reborn, the moment I see that they have body type A and body type B and not male, female, I'm out. I don't even care anymore. I'm so fed up with certain things that for me it's like a big stop sign. Pronouns and this bullshit. I don't care anymore. I just don't buy those games. I will not spend my money on it. Yeah. If they cannot adhere to simple, realistic biology, then I'm sorry. Yeah. And realistic biology, what I mean with contradicting to what I said before, but not necessarily. Let's stay real in terms of when we are talking about humans in games, humans come in male and female form. We are not coming in some it form, okay, or datems. If you're making a game with aliens, then I don't care what the aliens look like and what kind of pronouns they have. It's not my problem. But as long as you are playing as a human, there is no datum. There's male and female, period. And that's what I'm expecting to see in, I don't know, the character creator, right? Just don't stuff real life politics into the games. That's what I'm saying. And Louis is saying, admittedly though, us Central European Slavs are probably more sensitive to this corporate bullcrap. Yeah, you can bet. And I have been working for corporations as well. Thankfully, not in positions where it would affect me really. Let's say the corporate BS politics. Coming from finances and accounting, you don't really give a damn. But in general, when you're working for those companies, you can see all the BS that's being presented, whether it's on, I don't know, meetings or whatever announcements. And most of us just roll our eyes here in the area. It's like you're saying. So yeah, we are sensitive to this corporate bullcrap. And for me, I think it's because it so often reminds me of the creepy leftist communist propaganda that we were completely blasted with until 89, non-stop. That was just propaganda. And when I see some of the corporate announcements or corporate BS that's around, for me it's the same shit, different color. It's just propaganda, and I can smell it a mile away. And just like I wasn't fond of the communist propaganda before 89, just the same way I am not fond of this corporate BS right now. So yeah, it can have something to do with it, to be honest. Yeah. Sorry, didn't want to veer off into politics. Unfortunately, yeah, obviously we have to talk about it from time to time. It does have an impact on gaming as well, and on the topics that we are discussing here, even though I don't like it myself, to be honest. But yeah, never mind. Yeah, if I'm talking BS, let me know. Okay, let me see what else do I have, because we still have a little bit more. And what was there? Oh yeah, MTV. I was so sad, damn it, when I heard that they ended. But it was probably something to be expected, to be honest. Let me share again the screen. You can see it, okay. So what is something that... yeah, that was Anthem, we mentioned that. I can understand that the appeal of playing music videos in this day and age, when we have social media and you have, I don't know, Spotify and whatever, it's not the same anymore. So it's something where you probably seen a bigger decline of people watching the videos, music videos. Although I think it was an art form in and of itself, and I really appreciated that. It was always fun to watch certain vids made by certain directors and for the music. So yeah, it was definitely something that will be a nice memory for me. And again, maybe I'm veering off into this local stuff. MTV did launch in August the 1st, 1981, but here these days, in this location, like the former Eastern Europe or the east behind the Iron Curtain, we didn't have access. So really the MTV channel, as far as I remember, it just came somewhere around the early 90s, and that was when the first cable TVs and first satellite TVs were like being offered here, so the channels from the West, and MTV was one of them. And I will remember that forever, for the rest of my life. The first ever video clip which I have seen was actually Pearl Jam Alive. And it's such a fantastic vid, and it will always be like a nice memory, because we were a bunch of friends just visiting one of us, and they had MTV already at home. I think they were the first one who had MTV from our friends group. So we've gathered there, and then the first vid which I have seen was Pearl Jam. So it was a nice memory, and it's a sad thing that it stopped after so many years. But to be honest, it wasn't really a big surprise, because they went from MTV, which is music television, to just reality TV. And for me, that just absolutely killed it. I was only watching the specified, or I had let's say this specific channels playing, like, I don't know, MTV, 80s, 90s, MTV Rock, whatever. So I had those playing in the background when I was doing something at home. But I really didn't care about the main MTV channel anymore, which has become like the reality TV channel. It was just awful. I really hate reality TV, to be honest. And it's just, and it was just to be expected, because it's also here like the MTV, the whole MTV just devolved into a reality show broadcast network, and I just didn't really bother anymore watching. So one era is ending. I don't know if you had some memories of MTV, if you were watching it, or if it was important for you, but at least for my generation, it's like a piece of an era has ended. So yeah, kind of nostalgic here. Sorry. Yeah, Louise is saying, now look at them yo-yos, that's the way you do it. Yeah, I cannot even sing it. We will get that's the crap. When I start to sing it, the Dire Straits song, the moment I would sing the melody and not just read the text, I will get not a strike, but I will get the mention that the copyright claim for the music. You can have a 2 hours long stream, and the moment you are like just humming a melody, your whole stream will be automatically claimed by that owner of that melody. So the guitar is now playing in my head. Yes, exactly. Money for nothing. Yeah. And Snake is saying MTV and Toonami God, I miss it. Yes. And also VH1, it was also mentioned there, VH1. And yeah, it was so great when you could just, turn on the TV and just listen to it. And really, for me, it was important to see also some of the beats. And I think that's why some of the songs were even more iconic. Not just because of the song itself, because of the music and the lyrics, but there were certain bits which had such great videos that they just became iconic because of the video and because of how groundbreaking it was. I think Sledgehammer from Peter Gabriel is such a good example. Like back in the day, back at that time, the video was like really, that was a breakthrough technically, right? What they did. And there were a couple of such videos which just like people remember because of the video as such, not necessarily the band or the music or the lyrics, you know. It was really because of the vid and yeah, good times. Yeah. Sad What can I tell you? Okay, then what do I have? Oh yeah, that was also something that I've mentioned already before. You remember I was telling you on the last live stream, suddenly if my channel should disappear, it wasn't me. And because YouTube is terminating so many channels, or they have terminated so many channels, like millions of channels over the past few months, and of course a lot of them have been terminated not correctly, so really the terminations were wrong. I'm not saying all of them. I'm pretty sure that they have terminated a lot of either slop or some channels that went against their guidelines. I'm not saying that that wasn't justified for a large portion, but still there was a portion of the people whose channels got terminated and suddenly disappeared from one day to another, and those were not small channels. There were people who had like, I don't know, 100,000 subs, and they have been making vids for 12 years, and suddenly their channel was gone. They just woke up one morning and the channel was gone. No warning, no strike, no information, absolutely nothing. And I think it went it came to a level where it was already so widely discussed that YouTube obviously quietly decided to do something about the let's say complaints. And I know it's not necessarily the best for people who are not on X, because not everyone is there, but it is a good way of getting their attention. So as you can see, there is a Team YouTube on X, and they actually started to reply. I have noticed in a couple of the last few, 2-3 weeks already. I think it started somewhere like after the new year. You can see it's actually no longer this kind of copy-pasted automated replies. Sometimes yes, but still you see actually that they are interacting with the people who are bringing their cases to them. And they are actually replying, and they're actually trying to do something. So I have seen already a couple of the channels being restated based just on the interactions here and based on the DMs that they were exchanging with Team YouTube. And it's really looking like finally YouTube has decided to bring back a couple of people, not just AI and robots, but it looks like there are some humans now doing the reviews of all these terminated channels, and they are bringing some of them back, and they are really looking into the details of what went wrong. So I have to say, I do appreciate it. I do appreciate that they are replying here. As you can see, that's all just from the last few hours or days, and it's endless. And they are just really, look at how much they are reacting. So kudos. To be honest, kudos to that, because I didn't really expect them to start doing something with it. And I think it's just the pressure now started to be too much. So yeah. Let me see what you are writing. Yeah, let's not forget Nick at Night. I will always remember Meatloaf. Oh yes, I would do anything for love because of the music video. That was a great one, yes. And don't forget the Rocky Horror Picture Show. Oh yeah. There were so many good vids. Absolutely. Like seriously, some of them are really just my favorites until this day. Sometimes I'm really just watching some of the vids, even on YouTube. I just find them on YouTube and listen to them, but I'm watching the vids because, nostalgia. And because I remember the video and it was so well done. So like I said, it was a separate art form, an art form in and of itself. And that's something that's now dying because MTV is dying. There just will not be anymore this kind of big demand for making the music videos, I'm afraid. I'm sure there will be some still, but not just not that many and not in that form as we were used to. So it's kind of a shame, yeah. Let me go back and and the last topic that I have is Fun Friday. And the Fun Friday, I think what was really good, and I'm hoping that I will now not botch it. Let me turn on the desktop sound. I'm not sure if it has a sound or not. This one I will be playing without the sound, just to be on the safe side. So this one is the first person in the world to kick his own balls. And if you look at that, I hope you can see it. I will make it bigger, just give me a sec. So basically that's a guy who's wearing a mock-up suit. And you kick yourself in the balls. And I like how the robot goes down. Okay, so that was quite a funny bit when I have seen it the first time. The more you watch it, the better it gets. And so I will be posting the link in the description below. And then there's a guy. Again, I always, make you aware of some channels, maybe that are like funny, or some people that are producing shorts, or I don't know, Facebook sites, etc. So this time there is a guy, I don't know, maybe you have heard about him already. Let me put on my headset because I want to make sure that you're going to hear it this time, hopefully. And let me just see if I have unlocked the desktop sound. Yeah, it's unlocked, so hopefully you're going to be able to hear it. And there's this guy. I think it's called, he is called Graipur. I think that's the correct way how to read it. Graipur. He's an Icelandic guy, and he's having kind of a very dry humor. So it's not for everyone, I understand. But he has sometimes really like good shorts. So he's making like really shorts, funny shorts. And this one is something that's worth watching.
People think rising sea level is because of global warming, but it's not. It's this motherfucker, he's been doing this all day. People think rising sea level is because of global warming.
I hope you could hear that. I hope the sound was on this time. Let me see. The robot was hit with the DMG Reflect, yes. And I hope you could hear that, because the last time I think I had problems with the desktop sound, so that's why you couldn't hear what I was playing. I hope I did turn it on right now. Absolutely would advise you to check out his channel and check out his shorts, because he's having like some really funny ones. And there was also somewhere he's talking about his kids, or he has a kid, I think a son. And there was one I really liked as well. Like he's standing like in the middle of nowhere. You see just a big open space behind him, and he's saying like, why we are putting something on our kids, like jackets which are orange or yellow or bright colors, so that we can see them in all this snow. And then he turns around and there's nothing, like just snow. You cannot see anything orange or yellow, and you can see his face like. So he's looking for his kid. So yeah, it is making good jokes, but you have to like this kind of humor. Icelandic problems, yes. But yeah, he does have some good stuff. So if you want to check out something funny, you can check out this guy. would advise you to do that. Let me just turn off the audio just in case for desktop, and let me switch. And I think that was everything that I had for today. Yeah, that was everything that I had. And before I leave, I just want to mention again, I did mention it in the beginning, but I just want to mention it again. I did update or upgrade. I will be upgrading over this weekend my hardware a little bit, so I'm not going to be able to work on videos. I will be posting them a little bit later. There might be, let's say, the next week, nothing, depending on how fast I am with putting everything together and making it work. And I will then probably do a couple of clips from this live stream for those people who have not been joining. I have noticed that if I have a live stream, and even if not so many people are live on the stream, there are a couple of people who are watching it later, and the streams are getting about, I don't know, between 20 and 30 views. So there are a couple of people still after the stream who are watching it, so I'm very thankful for that. And I have noticed that when I'm making the clips just for specific topics, that more people are checking out these clips, so they get more than, I don't know, 150 views. So more people have the option to see the stuff. So for those of you who are on the streams, you might see maybe, let's say, repetitive content, because you can see the same already again, just clipped out in a new video. I'm trying to at least change it with the editing a little bit. So I'm making it shorter, making maybe some fun video, not just the audio. And it's kind of a little bit changed, so it's not completely the same. But yeah, I think it's better because a couple of more people can then check out the topic that we were discussing, and they can be sad that they were not on the original live stream. And yeah, Snake is saying, humanity makes pointy stick stabs themselves, humanity makes the fire burn themselves, humanity makes AI kicks themselves the balls. Yep, that checks out. Yes. Yeah, kind of sort of get bitten in the ass by everything that we are creating one way or the other. Yeah. Okay, good. Guys, that would be it from my side for today. I hope you did like the topics for today. I wasn't something really groundbreaking there or any big news. But I think it's a relatively quiet time period anyway right now currently, so there's not really that much going on, whether it's in the industry as such or whether it's like from the gaming content perspective. So yeah, at least we had some option to chat a little bit, so I'm happy that you have been here. Humanity makes AI fires themselves from jobs. Okay, don't tell me. Yeah, like I said last year when we've got laid off, we automated ourselves out of our jobs. It was something like that. Thankfully, in this case, what I'm currently doing right now, there's not really the same threat. So that's at least a positive thing. But yeah, I can see it already on a couple of other people as well and other companies. So AI is more and more taking over, in the sense that many people are not really having the job certainty that they used to have, and it doesn't really matter anymore in which area it is. So unfortunately, yeah, we're going to see that more and more often. Yeah, I can't be as bad as giving the women the right. I can't be as bad as giving the women the right to vote. That's from Snake. I know many people are not going to like me for that, but I have to agree with you on that one, to be honest. And yeah, many, let me put it this way, many girls and women that I know don't really give a flying fuck about politics. And they are going to vote just because, hey, I can vote. Let me vote the same as what my husband votes, what my brother votes, what my mom and dad are voting for, what my siblings are voting for. I'm not saying that's everywhere. I'm not saying it's everyone. I know this is a very controversial take, so I'm calm down. I am saying many that I know, especially, let's say, also in my age group, people who are already disillusioned, the women either don't go voting at all, or they just vote what the others are voting for. They're not really that interested in politics. If they get pissed as hell because a party that's currently there is doing something which is going completely against their wishes and their let's say personal views, then yes, they are going to vote the opposite just to vote for the opposite, no matter what the opposite is. That's the point. So I think it's not really so great that this can influence the total outcome. And to be honest, another very, very controversial take. After a certain age, I would not allow people to vote. So if you are an old grandma or grandpa, you should not be voting anymore, because you are deciding about the future of a country, which just enjoy your retirement. It doesn't really impact you that much anymore. You've been voting your whole life, and when you were working and it was really impacting you, fine. But now that you are retired, just don't. And most of the old people also then, let's say, are not really having that best overview of what's really going on, because they don't really use social media. They don't really see what's really going on behind the scenes. The younger people do. So that's one thing. And the last and very controversial one, for anyone who wants to go voting, I would do IQ tests. And if you don't reach a certain IQ, you should not be able to vote. That's about it. So yeah, a couple of controversial takes at the end. You can hate me for it right now. I don't really care. But yeah, that's my opinion. Or we're getting spicy around here. That's from Louis. I love how it goes from about to stop the stream, so to let's talk about women and voting. Yeah, you started with that. I'm just reacting to you guys. No, seriously, I mean, as long as there is something to talk about, I'm happy to talk about it. And the streams are there, like, for us all to talk, not just for me to talk, even though I'm chatty. But it's also for me to talk with you. That's why I'm making those streams, right? Sisa, the Athenian Democrat. That's from Louis. Yeah, probably. You know, to be honest, but I am like I said, I am probably having very controversial takes in general. In general, my take as a woman now. I'm born in the wrong period. I don't want to work 9 to 5. I want to be a housewife. I want to sit at home. You guys, you can have the world politics and go to have a job and make the money. And I just want to be at the home and take care of the home and cook for you and make, just take care of the house and the family and everything. And I don't care about politics. So I am this kind of old generational thinking. Maybe I'm a dinosaur in this thinking. I admit it, but I just don't care about this modern day BS. Okay. So yeah, from my side, I'm looking really forward to my retirement. That's why I was mentioning it already a couple of times, actually. I just want to enjoy my retirement. I am looking forward to the time when I will not have to look at the clock and I do have to be at work at that time and then have the additional stress of being at work. I much rather prefer the stress of cleaning up the household than the stress of having a job, to be honest. So yeah, I might be in the very, very small minority, but I'm really not fond of this lifestyle. If I would have been born a couple of centuries ago, I absolutely wouldn't mind. So yeah, now you know. I didn't start nothing what you are talking about, Sisa. What is a woman, lol? Okay, that's the best question these days. It's a biological female. It's a woman. A woman is a biological human adult female. It's not a guy with a penis who just wears a dress. Okay, so yeah, I think that's quite clear from my take so far. I think it's time to change the topics or either close the stream right now. We are going in the direction where I am pretty sure somebody will pick up on this controversial takes and hate on me even more. But yeah, it's fine for me. It's my opinion. It's been for a long time. Most people who know me like personally know this exactly. So yeah. A miserable little pile of secrets. Is that your definition of a woman? Miserable little pile of secrets? Why miserable? I mean, okay, a little pile of secrets. Okay, but why miserable? Not everyone's miserable. Not every woman is miserable. If that's your definition, though. Okay, I think it's time to close the stream, seriously. You're not old. My wife's 36 and she wants to be a stay-at-home mom, and she used to be all about the woman empowerment. That's from Snake. I think there are certain things which I enjoy, of course, naturally in the today's society, let's say as a modern woman, because I do have certain freedoms which I wouldn't have, I don't know, a couple of centuries ago. I am aware of that. But if I would have to like decide whether I want to trade those few freedoms for the rest of my life or for the rest of my lifestyle and live a completely different way, yeah, I think that's a no-brainer for me. Yeah, I would probably not have a YouTube channel and talk about gaming, but that's fine, because there would be other much bigger positives for me. So yeah. Castlevania reference. Oh, I haven't. Okay. I didn't know, because Castlevania is just somewhere, yeah, passed me by. So that's why I haven't noticed it's a reference. See, I'm lagging in my knowledge. I have to now check it out. And Louise is posting, Dracula, what is a man? A miserable little pile of secrets, but enough talk, haven't you? Okay. Okay, so that was about a man? I have to disagree even more. A miserable little pile of secrets. Nah, I have to disagree even more. No. A miserable little pile, secrets aside, a miserable little pile are probably those pink and blue haircuts. Those people with those weird haircuts and weird hair colors and the screeching ones. Yeah, those are probably the miserable little piles. Okay. Well, let me stop the stream there before I say again something which the people will just criticize me for. And humanity, not man. Ah, okay, so it was meant as humanity. Okay, yeah. Miserable little pile of... Again, I disagree. Okay, guys, thank you for being here. It was really fun. And don't overthink, it's just a meme. Yeah, okay. Thank you for being here. I hope there was at least something interesting for you there. Like I said, I will be posting all of the links in the description below, so you can find it there. And also I will make chapters for each of the topics, even though we skipped a little bit. Hopefully see you then next month again on another stream, and I will try to prepare again something for you, which is interesting, and I'm hoping to see you there next month again. So from my side, all I can do is now wish you a very, very nice weekend. Enjoy it, your weekend, and enjoy some gaming as well. And if there is something new, I will definitely post it in a bit. So have a nice evening, have a nice weekend, and bye.